There are 4 words in the English language that on the surface seem harmless enough, but that contain the power to frustrate and anger and make a long journey even longer. Are we there yet? It seems even the youngest child can form these 4 words into a sentence that, when repeated with the proper frequency, can drive even the most patient parent or most loving grown-up to a point of emotional madness. Whether it's a short trip or a long journey, by land, sea, or air, to a familiar or unfamiliar destination, the question is valid yet infuriating. Are we there yet? It's not likely you've heard these words this holiday season with travel so restricted, but no doubt you can remember times when those 4 little words, "Are we there yet?" made you wonder whether the trip was even worth it. Now, since Jesus wasn't born yet, Mary and Joseph were spared the persistent nagging of an impatient child on their trek from Nazareth to Bethlehem. But before long, they'd take another trip, a flight, if you will, to Egypt, prompted by Joseph's dream. And when they would return to Galilee, Jesus would have been old enough to ask, "Are we there yet?" I was struck this year by the number of journeys in the Christmas story. First and obviously, Mary and Joseph's government-mandated trip to Bethlehem and their subsequent flight to Egypt. But then there are shepherds called by angels who went to see this thing which came to pass, and a babe lying in a manger. The Magi, or the wise men, are among my favorite sojourners of the season, not only for the distance traveled and the gifts delivered, but because they went home by a different way. Even the angels made some sort of celestial voyage to deliver good news of great joy for all the people. Life, it seems, is one journey after another, lined up like railroad tracks leading into the future. Some trips are inherently purposeful. Others seem painfully pointless. Some journeys we choose, others we do not. But all of them hold the potential of prompting the question, are we there yet? Now, the journey of 2020 has certainly been one we'll never forget. I just read about several airlines that were offering flights to nowhere. Travelers literally paid big money to fly nowhere. They would take off, fly around a bit, and return to the same airport. One airline even began serving meals on planes parked at the gate, and people came. Strange year, to be sure. At times, it felt like we were on a flight to nowhere and still kept asking, are we there yet? Against the backdrop of trips taken more than 2,000 years ago, tonight is a good night to consider journeys of our own, purposeful and pointless, chosen and unchosen, but most importantly, the journeys that still await us. I Wonder, As I Wander is a Christmas carol that came out of Appalachia in the mid-1930s. It's got a great title, and it serves as my theme for tonight. I wonder as I wander. Now, for 16 straight Christmas Eves, I have invited you to do essentially the same thing every year, and that is to do nothing, but to simply receive the gift of this night. Well, not this year, my friends. This Christmas, I'm going to invite you to wonder as you wander. First, wonder. To wonder is an inward journey. It's an inside job that plumbs the very depths of your soul, your beliefs, your doubts, your hopes, your fears. And to wonder takes time, and it takes attention. One of the realities of online worship is that people do other things at the same time as they're watching. And I know this is true because you've told me what you do while you watch or listen. But this multitasking has created what technologist Linda Stone calls continuous partial attention. To wonder about Christmas deserves more than our partial attention. So if you're doing more than one thing right now, I want you to stop. Stop whatever you're doing right now. Stop wrapping or unwrapping gifts. Stop cooking or cleaning in the kitchen. Stop scrolling through social media or, God forbid, email. Just stop. Stop and wonder. Wonder, what does it mean for the angels to say that born to you this day in the city of David is your Savior? Stop and wonder, what does it mean to you in this world as it is that love came down in Christmas, that the Word became flesh and moved into your neighborhood? Have you ever really wondered what this all means to you? 2020 is a good year to wonder. You know, the world was in chaos when Jesus was born. And Luke says that when the shepherds finally arrived at the stable, they made known what had been told them about the child, and all who heard it wondered. They didn't say, look what the world is coming to, but they wondered, and they pointed to Jesus, and they said, look what is coming to the world. This Christmas, stop long enough to truly wonder what it all means. Join a long legacy of wonderful people who journeyed inward. Wonder. And then wander. Journey outward. However it's possible for you. Wonder as you wander. I know this sounds paradoxical in the context of a quarantined Christmas, but the Christmas story is full of paradox. Think about it. A homeless and helpless child comes to save the world. A poor and powerless people bring the rich and the mighty to their knees. A no-name backwater burg becomes ground zero for a peace-making movement that would reach the paved streets of Rome. You see, to wander with purpose is to honor the journey that God made on our behalf. The Word became flesh, and it requires a likewise response, action, movement, a wandering journey of love on behalf of another person. Our wandering puts flesh on the bones of belief and makes the story of tonight matter to the world. Wander we must. I recall a Catholic nun who was leaving a community in Africa where she had served for more than 10 years. And as she was leaving, a young man came up to her and said, "I have a gift." And he gave her a seashell. She adored it and thanked him. Knowing that he had walked a full-day journey to the ocean just to get the shell, she asked him, "Why did you go to this trouble?" And he said, "The trouble is part of the gift." To wander with purpose, as God has done for us, is part of the gift we're called to share with the world. Yes, even out of a context of quarantine, wander we must. To come alongside a wandering God, bringing peace on earth in every imaginable form. Food for the hungry, drink for the thirsty, clothing for the naked, hospitality for the stranger, presence for the lonely, healing for the sick, love for the unloved. From the stranger who lives next door to children of God halfway around the world. Wander. It's part of the gift. Are we there yet? Not even close. But if we can have the obedience of Joseph and Mary, the curiosity of the shepherds, the stamina of the Magi, and the boldness of angels, then we might just get a little closer this Christmas. Wonder as you wander. And know that that voice from behind you asking, "Are we there yet?" is the God of the universe, hastening you onward for the journey that is our home. Merry Christmas.